This episode of Ryan Long's Branded Street Interviews has been brought to you by Forbidden Clothes.
There's a lot of people right now, in support of the sex work community, but not very many people have been standing up for pimps and people like that.
I don't support anything related to like selling someone else's body or anything.
But you not think that maybe you're just not supporting the community?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, again, it's up to their own free will. So like, yeah, sure.
Because there is the rule of law, but then there's also like the pimp code and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, essentially.
So they have to handle their merchandise a certain way. Which may not be in accordance with the United States law.
It's a very subjective question.
What do you think a pimp should do if, for example, one of the hoes is getting out of line or something like that?
That's a big question.
It's a question they have to ask themselves every day, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
so most guys that do male prostitution are independent.
Why do you think that is, that the men sort of run their own business, whereas a girl?
For men who I think are just more entrepreneurially oriented,
where the girls were like, get the guy to do it for them, sort of thing. You saying that's sexist?
What I'm saying
is more entrepreneurially.
World, my friend. I'm saying because of sexism, yes. I'm not saying that women are like this.
Like when you say pimp, I think more street sex and more violent and they're more.
Yeah, sometimes they have to be violent,
controlling.
But that's just part of the game, isn't it?
There's a lot more to sex work than just street, prostitution.
But I guess that's just the difference between old school and new school. Like some of the old school pimps, like, that's their way and that's how they do it. And some of the new school pimps, have sort of like a hands-off approach.
I think it has more to do with money and drugs.
Well, isn't that stereotyping to say that all pimps are involved with drugs?
No, I'm saying that drugs are very...
I stand up for a free market economy, so like in a sense that's sort of free market.
It's anti-free market to tell the pimps how to deal with their products.
So it's like I don't like that business, but as long as the people that are involved in it are like okay with the idea.
They sort of knew what they signed up for, I guess, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's a term of agreements, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times the rules are set beforehand, like if you disobey me, this is what happens.
Right, essentially. So if someone wants to be a pimp, then go ahead.
Se você gostou do vídeo, considere se inscrever no canal. Dê aquela paulada no botão do like. Compartilhe o vídeo. Dance a Macarena. Declame um poema. Pelado. E não se esqueça de se hidratar. Até mais, fui!